Greetings, YouTube. Look, I'm not saying Yondu couldn't use some kind of tune-up, but if you're asking me in the tech class who deserves it the most, I don't think he even makes my top 2 to 3. You've got champions like OG Iron Man and Iron Package, aka Iron Patriot, who deserve it way more. Now, that's not to say I won't take it. I said the same thing about Nebula, and she got even better, and she was good to begin with. I think Yondu is a bit of an underrated champion, and so maybe he is the kind of champion that if you just give him a little bit of a tweak, he becomes really, really good. I don't know. I know I still hate fighting him sometimes, even though his special one is fairly easy to dex once you get the timing down. I, for the longest time, would rush in early and get wrecked, and it was 110% my fault. So, let's go straight down to his mechanics. The leader of the Ravagers found himself some upgrades, along with the ability to steal his opponent's armor-up buffs. Shout out to somebody like Loki, who I expected to be on this list first. Yondu has learned how to steal his opponent's prowess effects and turn them into armor buffs for himself. Here's looking at you, Bishop. To help him fight those pesky mutants even more effectively, Yondu has an upgraded heal block, lasting up to 25 seconds, when fighting an opponent who is regenerating. Ooh. Yondu also made some tweaks to his Yaka Arrow, upgrading its chance to bleed opponents, as well as upgrading its damage output. Now, I think that's all good on paper. Those are all good things. If you're going to buff Yondu, let's buff him right. Strength's heal block. Against opponents who are under a regeneration effect, Yondu now has one of the longest heal block debuffs in the game, easily accessible with his special one. Prowess removal. Yondu now has a 50% chance on all attacks to remove prowess effects off his opponent, making him a great counter for some of the annoying mutant defenders in the contest, like I was just referring to with Bishop. Weaknesses Purify. Yondu's Bleed, Armor Break, Heal Block, and Weakness abilities are all in the form of debuffs. Any champion with access to Purify will make Yondu's life very difficult. Shout out to the Mystic champions. Bleed and Armor Break Punish. Yondu uses his Yaka Arrow for the majority of his attacks, making him an unfavorable matchup versus champions who punish those debuffs such as Omega Red and Dragon Man. All right, Yaka Arrow. Yondu utilizes his Yaka Arrow during his first and third light attacks, as well as during his heavy and special attacks. These attacks have a 445.45 armor and block penetration, as well as the following. 40% chance to inflict a bleed debuff, causing 2,324 direct damage over 7 seconds. Against bleed immune opponents, instead have a 40% chance to inflict an armor break debuff, removing one armor up buff and reducing armor rating by 370.59 for 9 seconds. The strength and precision of Yondu's Yaka Arrow allow it to trigger critical hits and personal abilities through the opponent's block. Don't forget that you can inflict bleeds or armor breaks through the opponent's block. 25% chance to pilfer one armor up buff, 50% chance to pilfer one prowess effect. For each prowess or armor up pilfered, gain an armor up buff, granting plus 1400 armor rating for 15 seconds. I don't like 25% abilities. 50% are fine. I am so old. I remember when there weren't percent chances. It was just 100%. It's what they did. And so quite a few of these buffs we've seen in the last year, even the last 6 months, have almost these RNG mechanics, because to me, 50% chance means a coin flip. You have a 50-50 shot of it working. And that's pretty annoying in the grand scheme of things. Yondu now has the ability to steal his opponent's prowess effects and or armor up buffs and convert them into armor up buffs for himself. This should come in handy against annoying mutant defenders such as Sauron and Storm P90X. I hate fighting Sauron, by the way. Opponent suffers minus 10% combat power rate for each debuff on them. Heavy attacks, 50% offensive ability accuracy during this attack. That's good. Special one, quick draw. 100% offensive ability accuracy during this attack. 100% chance to inflict a heal, block, a debuff lasting 12 seconds. If the opponent is regenerating, instead inflict a 25-second debuff. 25 seconds is a long time. The bonus duration makes annoying regeneration defenders such as Weapon X and Sabretooth much easier to contain. 445.45 block penetration. For each special attack the opponent has launched this fight, gain a passive fury, granting 697.2 attack rating for 14 seconds. This is Yondu's main damage spike. Special attack 3, the Yaka Attacka. 100% chance to gain a precision buff, increasing critical rating by 700 for 20 seconds. 100% chance to inflict an indefinite non-stacking passive special concussion, reducing ability accuracy during special attacks by 100%. And then Centurion Archery, Yondu's high octave vocal range gives him precise control over his Yaka arrows. Enemies activating a special attack suffer weakness for each debuff effect. Synergy bonuses, Rocket Raccoon, Ronin, Beast, Nightcrawler. Plus 400 block penetration, internet phrases, is pretty powerful. Star-Lord, recommended masteries. Deep Wounds is the theme of today for recommended masteries. That is for dang sure. Points in the Collar Tech Mastery and an aggressive playstyle to stack as many debuffs as you can on the opponent gives Yondu very potent power control. That's pretty cool too. But the Collar Tech Mastery, I don't know too many people that actually use that, I gotta be honest. Well, YouTube, I was definitely surprised to see Yondu get the tweak. I'm not saying he can't use it. I think he's going to be one of those battlegrounds champions that you almost want to have in your utility so that when there are certain matchups, especially a Weapon X, a Sabretooth, a Sauron, when Sauron becomes more common as a defender since he's now in the basic pool, he's going to be fun to use and who knows, maybe provide some good damage. I still can't see him being realistically one of the 3 people you bring in on attack for Alliance Quest or Alliance War. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But unless you do have a lane that's so hard to counter regeneration. Because when you have champions like, say, Void, even Guillotine, you have really already great regen reversal champs. I want this guy to be, like I hope Deadpool X-Force will be, a bleed king. I want him to really stack some fun bleeds. That's what makes using champions like Nick Fury, and especially if you pair Wolverine, who of course still isn't a 6-star, with Apocalypse, boy, is that bleed damage amazing. But I'm cautiously optimistic. I was shocked that Yondu was the champion. We were rooting for Kamala Khan at the top of that list. We were rooting for Loki at the top of that list. Thor Jane Foster at the top of that list. It doesn't seem like Kabam cares about the Marvel properties that are coming out in relation to when they buff things, and that's unfortunate, but at the same time predictable. Let me know what your thoughts are on Yondu. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.